Mics are hot.
Call it order, sir.
Alrighty.
Gene will not be here. Okay. So there's the minutes. Kevin had somebody come in about a road, so he'll be over in a minute. Okay.
You move this to single page. I think that's awesome. Thank you, Dave.
Good morning. I'm doing good, how are you?
Doing well. Still working.
Yes, sir.
Gene's not here, so this time I'll call the regular scheduled Pulaski County Commission meeting to order. I certify that we have a quorum and consent to approval of minutes and approve payroll and any bills. I don't think we have any bills. I'll second everybody. All in favor? Terry?
Just an annual report that's required that I present every year once tax season is over and we balance all of our books. So that is just a summary of everything we've collected, everything that's delinquent. And basically this year we collected over $30 million. So I balanced to the penny on that, and if you all have any questions about any of it, also we also do the outlaw on the previous delinquents on the personal. So that's what this is.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And we've collected a little more, I mean, each year, you know, that just continues to go up on collections, but, and then we're gonna say probably about the same.
Schools, you have almost 19 million. We shouldn't be getting any question.
Somebody just sign off on that, you guys, so. And Dave. You got one there? Okay. Right, thank you guys.
Thank you for the hard work there.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
Sure.
Well, I would like to present you all a Pulaski County Sheriff's Office safety bag with the color changing pencil, some of the crayon and coloring books that, with some of the stuff that, we talked about the last meeting. Potters, you all stress-free and check your blood level with the pencil. And there's a pen and to sign, like, you know,
A magic pen.
magic pen for the sheriff's office, or that's a safety light, so when you're out there in the dark, you can turn it on and it'll reflect.
Hang on your, put it on your belt.
Yeah.
Give somebody something to shoot at.
No.
If he would give me an air tag, I would have been impressed. He'd be tracked.
Did you have any luck with your call yesterday? Did you find out who that belonged to?
I didn't get no return call, they didn't, so I told them to call Sparklight. And I didn't get a call, so
Was it by the Hickory Hills Church?
I believe so. They couldn't tell me what church, because they were passing by it and just, they didn't know if it was a power line or a phone line. But somebody at church said that they recognized it as they saw it as well, recognized it as a phone line. Oh, that's right.
Well, because at that conference they have where they tell you like how important system works, simplification and stuff.
This is the deputy, how deputy.
Okay.
What else you got for us?
So, Jeremy came in, we were talking about the, down there at the shop, or annex. Well, there's two differences on it. There's one of them, this is the cheaper version of the bottom. The only difference is a laser, and it's like a $3,000 difference. This, he said this one right here is the same exact model, except it takes 5 extra seconds with the leveling arm, where that one's got a laser for the level. But these, two of the biggest, besides the lifts, for, to be able to do the vehicles for tires, changing tires, balancing tires. And it's got the piece right here that we would need for the bigger, like the 1 ton your vehicles. So that's, to get started, I think that one is 17, might be 18 on the back of the final price for the annex for just those two pieces of equipment with all the attachments needed to work on 1 ton and lower. Lifts, we will call today and find out about the lifts, but they're anywhere from 5 to, well, 6 to 9, 6 to 10. He recommended just going one lift for now. Just a 1 ton lift, but we're gonna need at least 1 ton lift to get started. And he said he could get us a computer that for about $3,500 that has diagnostics, that has everything. The only thing is it is how much
For the diagnostic piece,
for the yearly subscription.
1,500 for the year, for the,
Yeah, 3,500 for the computer and 1,500 for the yearly subscription
computer that you have.
for all the, and that includes guys, that includes all the, that includes every vehicle. So we'll call it, but those are the first two pieces of, the items that we've gotten hose back on for now.
We got,
Does the CBA have done on this to see about contracting, or how's it done currently, maintenance on vehicles with the local vendor?
yeah, I mean, us, we do our, we.
You do your own with the big trucks,
Yeah, and
or just led by St. Robert, and I noticed they always farm their work out to seas and stuff like that. I don't know if that's.
yeah, I mean, mean, that's
Officers
the
and
sheriff's
analysis.
office, I don't know if you guys got certain places that you do your tires with, or oil changes and all that kind of stuff.
We do, it's scattered. But to keep that all in-house, with our own mechanic, that will be able to work on our vehicles and, county vehicles. Instead of, for the simple maintenance, I'm not talking about like anything that would have to go to like big old tires or fires on posts or A plus or, any rub that would need the major work, but tire changes, oil changes, brakes, fluids, safety checks.
I was just thinking of the tail end of the such an investment, you have to keep that up versus the short-term expenses with the local vendor. They maintain their certification, the equipment, stuff like that. And I was just asking, if benefit analysis has been done before investing in long-term enterprise.
When are you looking at?
Timeline?
Yeah.
We haven't really sat down for a timeline. We want to get everything priced out, and then come back to y'all to see about, I mean, the biggest piece of that is going to get the lifts installed. I mean, plus we gotta, and we can do a lot of this ourselves, is putting the wall, putting the office in. It's just the electrical and stuff like that, we won't be able to do ourselves. The plumbing and stuff. I want somebody that knows what they're doing. We working on plumbing and wiring, especially electrical, but we can find, we can get folks to help us out with that. That's, so probably I'm gonna say 6 to 8 months. Realistic timeline to try and get this done.
Where is this stuff gonna be set up at?
And the
Finance.
Yeah,
I guess the concrete floors and everything.
Yes.
Taken out.
It's wired, it's plumbed, it was just never, the office was never built.
This will be open to all county departments too, like you guys do the maintenance on my truck and whatnot, right? It's not just a sheriff department thing.
No, this is all county. If now the cities, if they want something, that I think a contractual agreement with the county, for that to get that same bit. As far as what I'm talking about is for all county vehicles, for your vehicles, our vehicles, prosecutor, JO, I mean, whatever county vehicle needs service. So I mean, that's, and I don't know the shop, I'm gonna say $125 or $150 just to take your car to a garage to get looked at. I mean, we're saving that. We're getting our stuff from O'Reilly's and other places that we already got the county rate discount for the parts and services and stuff. It would just be finding a couple of mechanics that I think that would be no problem finding around here. I've got several that have already approached that are interested, so interview process and find a couple, and then the work's done, and then I personally don't want to have anything to do with, that's the building, on the jail, but I don't have, I'm not asking to run it or to hire my own mechanics and things like that. I would like that to be a county led, so when the mechanics are selected by you all, when we go in and get our vehicles fixed or worked on, they bill us, and the bill comes up here like it would go any other shop, and then, you know, we're paying, and out of that goes the mechanics. We're paying them.
It sounds like it's a bunch of money.
The only issue down there with the end is the way the fence was laid, and it is tight for larger vehicles. To make that turn into, especially if you got a couple of vehicles parked out there. So there's not a whole lot of room to maneuver. If you got a car or two parked out there waiting or something like that, so, I would suggest if one day we take a look at it and see, because I know you got dump trucks and salt trucks and stuff like that, but, making that turn and getting into the bay is, if that fence needs to be extended. Because all it is rock past, on the other side of that fence.
You know, you can move that back there, but a little bit.
If it would, I mean, a vehicle no problem, but I mean, we get 3 or 4 vehicles down ourselves, and, I mean, it's tight.
Yeah, when we get a little closer, like I said, I mean, it'd be nice if, like, they could come to our shop to change oil on a dump truck. Because you can't lift it, you're gonna be crawling around on it anyway. And, you know, that would save that trouble, you know, and that kind of stuff.
I wouldn't see why not, I mean, I'm not making rules, I'm just
saying we
yeah.
talk about stuff like that, you know.
That would-
Yeah.
Do either one of you guys have a service truck?
Or like if you have a broken down piece of equipment out there on the road or something, they bring a service truck out to,
Change
Yeah,
the
running a tire or
tires.
something on the road, or just take a hot rod hose or something. I mean, because if we go down now, we gotta take whoever we got, take them all this probably, put them on that.
that's why more than one mechanic, is gonna be needed. And diesel mechanics are, I know they're more up there than just regular, you're just not taking anything away, but you're just standard mechanic. So that, I mean, yeah, that, I don't, well, I think that was one of the, we wanted to give one of your service trucks for that reason, to be able to go out to, that mechanic to go out to the vehicle. They need work on.
Well, I think you need at least 2 people, those are safety aspects, some stuff you just can't do it yourself, or under a hood, running the back underneath, same time, or something falling on somebody, getting somebody else there.
Do some truck and crank on it.
Ours has got the Tommy with tailgate, we can lower and roll tires on and raise it up, roll it in, we've got a cage built, holds the tires in place and everything. It's got air compressor on it for running the air tools and all that stuff.
But right now, it's just you guys working on your own vehicles, and
Yeah.
I'm sure but they're more mechanically inclined, and
Yeah, I've got one or two that's pretty good, one of Andy's got what we used to do.
but you gotta take them on projects to,
But they may want to move over to be the mechanic, hire somebody to replace them.
Yeah, you just have to see. But that's what, I mean, that's what I was just thinking, because
Yeah.
they do, you know, if we need oil change on a couple of trucks, if they can come and get them, bring them over and do it, bring it back, instead of having a guy come over and wait on it, then I mean, if we're doing that, we might as well just change oil ourselves. well, you know. That way we're not, like I said, we're not taking guys off of equipment and stuff to get that done, so I mean, that'd be great. The only thing else we just have to think about too is filters and oil and, you know, and all that kind of stuff too, you know.
Not to interject, but there's several local companies that get St. James oil and a couple others that deliver, like they deliver to the shops, if you guys set up with that as well.
Well,
If you build that bulk oil and bulk
Crystal fuel, we buy 300 gallon oil at a time,
Right.
300 gallon hydraulic oil at a
It'd
time.
be the same way, they just bring it in bulk, you know, the same thing with your filters, you can get that that way too. But the good thing about having their own fleet mechanic, I guess, is he knows the vehicles he has.
just get a list of
So we can keep
them.
everything, you know, when you use one, you just order another one. We've always got it on hand and
Are your guys' credit all pretty well standard?
they're all
No, you all pretty well have the same ones, or?
Yeah, yeah.
I would two days, but yeah, they're pretty well all standard.
Pretty much the same oil and,
Yeah.
Actually, like choice nowadays too.
Yeah.
Yep.
GPS and all.
You just program where you want it to go, depth, hit a button, take it back.
Tractors, they went
but no, I like it whenever you get a little closer.
I'll take them back to go on to them, and then as I get, the other ones to. I mean, I'm thinking we buy used stuff, but I'm not, I'd rather not.
Yeah, you don't mess with these little.
Well, the thing about lifts and tire machines and things like that is if a shop's getting rid of them, there's a reason, you know. You know, like I'm not gonna replace a $10,000 balancer if I don't need it, so as long as mine's fine, I'm gonna keep it, you know. So yeah, I'd be leery of used stuff like that.
Or go buy an unbalanced machine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. You,
Y'all need anything from me?
Appreciate that.
have a good day.
See y'all.
Sign this thing. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just checking.
They got them, on my line, you roll a tire, and they take that, set it down, lock it, move the board,
14 years.
I wasn't gonna say. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Michelle responds to me, it's from the video of the training you all, so I don't know, I don't have a check record for it. Good check.
We need to form.
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
Please. We need a quorum.
I'm always available.
Well, doesn't pay. Like we're set.
Did Richard Meany come out to you last week?
No, I had an email from him.
I'll see you Tuesday.
I hadn't met him. What's the place on getting your defibrillator boxes throughout Canada? They fall apart.
I'll tell you later. So I approached the opiate committee to purchase of. The problem is the way the funding for the opiates is, it states that, whatever's purchased has to be 100% for opiate abuse, use, or education, things like that, interdiction. And the question I was asked is if I could guarantee that the only time it would ever be used is for somebody who was suffering a cardiac event related to opiate use. And I said no. So therefore, it doesn't make it qualify for funding.
Any other Boston grains out there that you've seen?
I do have a way to purchase a few of them, but I don't want to speak out of turn, speak for the agency who's working on that with me. As soon as I get that finalized out through him, I'll come and talk to you guys about that. But I don't want to call every agency out without having been here to speak on their behalf. Great idea. I had a proposal, that I took to the opiate committee. What I wanted to do was place an AED in each park in our county. Yes. And I found secure boxes that they would go in, they're tamper-proof, weather, wind, water, flood, dust, all that proof. To access the boxes, you would actually have to call 911. And then they would give you a code to open it at that time, and then simultaneously, you know, dispatch fire EMS and police at your location. But it's expensive, it cost me about $50,000 to put one in each park in our county. But I was doing it countywide. You know, we've had in the last 4 years, 3 deaths in our parks, 118 and 200, 18 and
sure. Time for when the federal funding is called time purposes amount of money is for specific purposes.
Sure. Is the county allowed to do any fundraising for things like that, or? Like I said, I would need about $50,000 to place in all parts, I think, and it also puts one outside the courthouse, so I think it's, in the sheriff's office, on one side you're going to, but it, I think it's right at $50,000.
Ground fault.
like a 501c or something?
I can help with that too. I can help. I just did it for the Humane Society online. If you register as a charity, online platform, this is streamlines. You can link it to the stream. I got a key code. Matter of fact, it's running right now. It's helping this dog out there. Put the surgery or reason to get him out there.
Right. So if I was able to get the AEDs per se donated with the county, versus the person in the box, they're about $1,500, just 15 of them.
Marijuana money.
If you ever get answers on something like that.
And I'm still working with, I know the prosecutor, he's looking at some legalities on it to see where we're at, but right now it's just in a poll waiting on actual definition and things to find out what we can and can't do. We don't want to do something where we're in a position where we have to pay it back or we're penalized anyway.
The ambulance district had a role like this, the first responders,
Well,
you're usually after the fact. I mean, it's just usually not your,
again, I am talking with somebody about it.
Oh, sure.
Put them out without them being here to speak on their behalf.
Sure.
Yes.
but I would want to, like, host an online event, raise money on behalf of
I'm just not sure how that would work with the legalities of things like that, with it being something that, doing
transfer
through the county as an elected official, you know, trying to raise money.
Oh, sure.
How that runs, you know.
The organization has to lead it, and they just don't give it to you.
Right.
Whatever charitable organization.
Like I said, I think it's a great idea, but I want to do it the legal way. I don't want to be any gray area as far as I'm concerned. The answer is no. You know, if it's gray, it's no. You know, it needs to be straight, yes, you
I live
can.
in gray area, it's not charcoal.
I got you, but it's not my money and the things I'm dealing with, so it's got to be 100% to do that.
And then when you get upkeep on them too, I mean, the batteries last so long.
Well, so the batteries and the patches, of course, they come with the batteries, they come with adult, pediatric, you know, for children under 8, patches. They have a 5-year lifespan in these boxes. But the way that I was going to do this is like the ones I would put in the Waynesville Park. I would actually turn these devices over to the city. And that the city would sign an agreement stating that they would maintain, you know, from there. Right.
You got to come around every so often and make sure.
Right, it's about a $300 expense to replace the batteries and the patches. So I have talked to ambulance and fire, and if the patches were used, the ambulance wouldn't have a problem giving another set to replace those. Because what would happen, in the box I got her, price on it was all AEDs, which is the same one that the ambulance and the fire departments in our county carry. So the patches on these, once they're replaced, and the ambulance gets there, they can unplug the AED and actually plug their defibrillator to it and continue to use those patches, which saves time there as well. But then they can just give us another set to which is pretty common. They do that a lot of times with the fire departments, and things, you know, the ambulance will give, the ambulance will build that out to insurance companies, things to where fire departments and stuff cannot.
No, I mean, if they're in these boxes, you say somebody got to call 911, get a code, get in,
Yes.
once they're in there, they can talk to the process on how you do it.
So, the manufacturer likes to come down and give a class, and when you take the AD, open the lid, it talks to you, tells you everything to do. Press this button, put the plug here, and blinks, you know, where you put the patches up. The 80 plus I actually got is, well, you're actually doing these guards, will tell you faster, slower, deeper, harder. And you can't shock somebody unless their heart is in the, I won't say the right.
It'll tell you to shock.
It won't let you shock unless they need a shock. You can hit the button all day, it won't do anything unless the machine says, yes, you need it.
Yep.
Yeah, they're pretty great. They're actually set up where a 5-year-old can take one who's never seen one and figure it out. They're pretty amazing machines, really.
The pictures and all that.
Yeah, the box I was looking at, that's called a CD4000, it's made by CJ. And it's got a glass window on the front, it's great roof shot out of the roof, it's supposed to be full of roof. And they have heaters in them, so in the winter time, they maintain temperature inside the box, so they do require 110 power.
I wonder, how big are the water box, I mean, you know, we got vandals everywhere, I mean, something.
They're guaranteed to install that,
Or bulletproof, something.
yeah, they're actually built like a little safe, is what they are, and they're big. You know, they're pretty good size, they stand out, they're bright yellow. I'll show you what they actually look like. Oh. This is what the cabinet actually looks like here. So like, get in and call 911, they give you a code, I've already talked to Michelle, 911. She's all forward, we'll see, here's on a pedestal, or on a pole. You know what I'm trying to do. That's the inside of them. But see, I mean, they've got actual locks on there, they're pretty impressive. Yeah, and they say, yeah, see, they're $1,195 a piece. I can get them a little cheaper by buying them in bulk. And they're FDA approved, they're polycarbonate construction, double clamshell insulated, marine grade. It's got a permanent light inside of it, a breather drain, thermostatically controlled, 10,000 hour salt tested. IP66 rated against dust and water. They're pretty impressive. And there's testimony of people that's used them, you know, that put them at tennis courts and ball fields, and they're becoming a popular thing. You're gonna see them a lot in the big cities.
Yeah.
But the box itself has zero maintenance, with the exception of battery backup or the keypad. Because like I said, they do require 110 power, but the keypad itself is 110, but has a battery backup, so you can get into it even if there's a power outage or something. And along with these, in addition to the AEDs, they're actually medicine cabinets too. They're actually set up to hold EpiPens. But with that said, we can also put Narcan inside these boxes as well. I've already talked to Michelle at 911, so if you call 911 from your phone and you're down at the park, you know, you think somebody's having a heart attack or whatever, when you populate on their screen, it pulls up like an overlay map to where you're at. It'll show all the fire hydrants in the area. It'll show all the emergency stuff that could be there depending on what your emergency is. The location of these boxes will also show up. so they can tell you, hey, you know, you're at the park, you need to go to the other side of the park, grab this AED and then come back, you know. So pretty cool little deal. We've done a lot of work, a lot of research to it. We just waiting on clarification for funding.
Sounds like a good idea.
I have talked to all the cities, puts one on the community center in St. Robert and one in the park itself. Puts two in our park here and one down in the spring. One on the fire station in Sweetsburg. They don't necessarily have a park, they are a community. The community building in the Richland Park. One in the Dixon Park and in the soccer field and in the ball field. They're in 3 separate locations over there at the park in Dixon. One at the pavilion down from the swimming pool at the Crocker Pool. Now the pool itself has an AED, but this will be out for the community. Down by the ball fields. Yeah. But the one at all above the park, the county. Now that's not only roadside bars or conservation areas, you know, with the actual park. And then one on the outside that courthouse building here. You know, we have a lot of events around the square and things like that. Put on every building, you know,
Yeah.
every business, every building.
We talked to him, when he's purchasing the bulb, getting one
For the road
for the shop, my shop.
You know, the good thing about that too is they can be put on the outside of your building, where if for the public emergency, somebody can use it, but it'll be there for you guys as well.
Yeah, we have them taken share.
Yeah, I think the guys at road bosses need them in their trucks. Yeah, you're gonna eat. Yeah. And you know, for $2,500 a piece, you know, that doesn't mean you don't have one. And you know, I mean,
Can't go across a lot.
so, you know, when somebody asked me about this, you know, $50,000 is a lot of money to put these up and never use, it's not a very one time's worth it.
Yeah, so that person in that family.
Sure.
It's worth it.
You're recording that too. Yeah, it would have been.
And you never know when something's gonna, it's never know when it's gonna happen.
Well, when I had a pathologist tell them to let a cardiac a shot, might save the life of an 8-year-old. But in regards to CPR and everything else, that shot would have been the only way he would have survived. Really puts a drive to it. Try to make this happen. Gives everybody in the county the ability to know. You can make it happen. awful late today, Darryl. Daylight savings gives you what?
No. Computer issues at home.
And some kind of words run on computers.
Isn't it? Nice, you shut all those computers off for a week.
Most of the things that business are on anymore.
Some of them phone computers too, you know, we just do it with all of it just for a week and see where we're at.
Pain.
It would be, but
Yeah. It'd be chaos, that's for sure.
Oh, don't worry, I'm not gonna turn around. And I think I'm just gonna leave.
it's just to go get your phone, yeah. I don't know if you ever go to work without one.
I know, you just can't, and you think about it, oh, it's like a crack, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I got to the point, I don't answer.
My phone's for my convenience.
That's right. I had to try to explain it, I'm always, why don't you answer my text, I said, I don't read it. I'll read my text when I feel like it. And I'll sit, you know, she's over, so she sits there all day, she thinks I'm just sit right there on the other end of it.
Yeah, you're ignoring her now.
Yeah. Uses just like the information, speeding it now. Everybody wants it now.
We don't have to research anything anymore. My Google boy will tell you.
Usually I have, or
They do them, see about it, measurements on the railroad right away, when you see shells. Yeah. I mean, check on one.
What do you guys have, anything else for me? Dave? This is actually a package today. Kyle, do you have anything for me?
I don't.
Thank you. Come.
Can you give me this, where you're looking for the boxes? I know you said verbally on video, I'm wondering if maybe that was a complete list or there's others.
Well, it's my projected list, but you missed so much of that conversation, do you want to try to type about it?
I'll be looking at this video.
Okay.
When I had a problem at quarter nine, and I knew he was here, that made a difference.
And each one of the parts within the county is where,
Thank you.
I wanted two in Waynesville City Park, one on each of the bathhouses is what I thought, one over here by the field, the one down in the park, one over in Laughlin Park, the Richland Park, on the fire station in Sweetburg, were in that area.
To clarify, what I was trying to say is, did you give a complete list that you have at this point on video? I wasn't meaning to get repeated, I just wanted to maybe there was some other ones.
Yes, I mentioned where I was wanting to put them.
Thank you, thank you.
It doesn't mean that that's where they'll go, but that's what my projection is, yes.
Thank you. That's what I'm wondering. People have been known to give a list and then say, oh, there's two more I forgot about. I just wanted to give you that.
Yeah, no, it's not an official list, it's my projected list, I guess.
Thank you, sir. That's why I wanted to clarify.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Chips.
My number gets updated from
Feedback, chips.
NPRA, the Regional Association, or, no, Military Police Association, at 11 or so. If y'all know nothing. You're on a mission, so you're not a little bit busy.
You're a mortgage kid that says the pulling personnel of fire. I thought that whenever it was first started off, that was dead, but then again, there's a citizen went above and beyond, that's fantastic. Not that the deputy would be fantastic either, but I mean, you know.
Well, yeah, no, he was, I mean, he was the first one in, and then, this wasn't him, this was people that would like, not long, like, about 10, 15 seconds after they pulled that guy out, they just went up in flames.
Actually, I called out the St. Robert mayor as a good example of what the sheriff did. Put it on Facebook and everything else, and says, do we do the same thing for St. Robert Police? He says, we do it all the time, the councilman says, how come I never see it? Never see it. That's a good news story. You know, you reward publicly, it's just a core class of leadership.
That's a great idea.
Tell the good news. You got good employees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
One more, as soon as they can find a good time, this is back several years ago, I said I got in and I was ordered for Valerie Settlers too, and then it's out in Lakewood, so. And we got a, I hope we got in, what do you call them, the letters from the,
Oh, like proclamation
Yeah.
from the state reps and stuff.
so hopefully in the next weeks I can find some time and get it out. Matter of fact, I'll work on that day. Well, I go to Jeff City.
Yeah, they're not busy either.
No, I'm going up there to see if we're gonna have a retirement for sheriffs in 4 years, because after 4 years, our money's done. So we don't have retirements. Unless they figure something out.
Didn't they put that bill back up that it starts, that added the fees again to the tickets and stuff?
That got voted down, because that would cause us, what the citizens said, that would cause, well, not citizens, people fighting against it, that would cause us to go out and arrest more people.
Oh, I see.
It's not, I mean, it only gets, it's not for arrest, it's for guilty pleas.
Correct.
And that would cause the prosecutors to work harder to get a guilty plea. If you're guilty, you're guilty. So they're, I don't know that, they are revamping a few things, but I know the governor put a couple million in for, to keep going this year for retirement. But after that, it's a done deal. With, the state of Missouri can't keep doing that. I mean, she just gave Howard Troy a huge pay raise. So.
Are they funded like state employees though?
Mhm.
Like
And they had, I don't think they had a pay raise in, in a long time either, but. It's not like it's a year retirement, I get averages out, if you do 8 years and retire, you more or less like $800. For 100 years you were in office. So, I mean, it's not a,
They didn't like it
yeah, it's something to, yeah, I'm not too much concerned about it as much as others are, but, I mean, especially if you've been in office for 12, 16 years.
And they don't have it anymore.
Yeah, and that's what, he was working from forward, I mean,
Well, yeah, I think you work in that position, I mean, you, at the end, I mean,
Think you're gonna retire and get some money, but keep working till you fall
well, they took us off loggers, I don't know why they took the sheriffs off loggers, but I guess it's a big fight about that, I don't know what the deal with that was, but, there's a whole lot into it. And then drones, gotta talk about drones. Trying to take our drones away.
You want to take your drones away?
Hmm?
What's this about wanting to take your drones away?
That's for a later date.
Okay.
But yeah, they're trying to say drones are illegal.
Okay. You'll have to come back and tell about that.
Oh, I will.
Okay.
I will.
Make
Make
sure
sure things up there, I just wanna get the. Huh?
I don't know if that was related to TGAI or a specific brand. That's what I had. Going back to what he was talking about, that shop, doing the internal labor, did they actually provide you cost benefit analysis versus going external to internal?
No, I mean, that's something we just have to start trying to look at as we get closer.
Right, maybe my experience in that, before any of these get that amount of money, was investing in facility upgrades and manpower. And I would think the liability issues are into mechanics and structural and maintenance, changing tires, blowing things up, you know. When there's, I don't know how many mechanic shops that come down the street that do that, routine maintenance. Not saying that's not a good idea. There's a process of cost benefit analysis to show how much money are we actually gonna save, if any.
No, I agree, especially when you're hiring, sorry, when you're hiring two mechanics.
Right. And then if you're talking about that, you're not actually taking deputies off the road to do it. You're taking
They're
mechanics, budgets are tight. And there's, up and down the 66, we've got all kinds of shops that change tires. It's not a long-term decision. I'm just hoping that the kind of analysis is done before we go into the long-term hiring process with the logistics entail. Like it's in the butt 5-10 years down the road, we're still paying for it. That's what Doge is doing. Oh, we can go get Elon down here and see. And that's the first thing that down through the gate, they got all the, federal and converted over to contract, and get rid of the contracts, go back to federal, and then back and forth. It's all about CBA.
This will be the last, right?
You guys are just so exciting for me.
Yeah, it's, I don't know why it's why
I think he nailed it on the head early. Somebody's not here.
Yeah.
We won't speak any names. I think it's name starter.
What's going on with the stuff being brought up to the air conditioning units?
No, they're replacing the roof surface.
Okay. I got a photograph of it coming in, and they looked at first like porta potties, and they said, there's no way they're putting porta potties on the road. What are these?
No, they're redoing
Do you have a leak issue?
Yeah, it's been like that for several years. They've passed, and it was finally time just to go ahead and do the whole new complete roof service.
Thank you. Do we have a cost number on that, or will I have to need to
Yeah,
wait?
you'll have to see Dave for that.
Will it-
Oh, wait.
I saw you about to turn it off, so that's why I deliberately asked before you turn it off. I'm not here to get the interesting stuff, let's take this off. I have done that to some of my competitors, you're kind of a little bit different category.
I'm just here for the likes. I got the broadcasting on like everything right now. TikTok, got the Chinese listening.
Oh,
back when the Daily Guide still existed, one of the reporters who I actually liked, I deliberately waited until half an hour after I knew what her deadline was to drop some huge story about the murder. She got a hold of me on Saturday and said, "I saw that time and you did that deliberately." And I said, "You're absolutely right, I did that to you. Now, do I need to tell you what all you've done to me over the years?"
Do we need a reminder?
Yeah, she quit years ago and pretty much the same reasons I did, and doesn't even live here anymore. But I'm not doing that to you. I deliberately, when I saw you turn it off, asked the question.
I appreciate that.
No problem.
We had like 300-400 views last week, so. Did a fundraiser helping out the Humane Society for this child. Raised like $3,000. Just with the surgery was like $6,000. Getting his rope, getting brought in and two broken front arms. So they asked me to broadcast, I had to post a couple of like mini telethons online, this meeting in my little office and broadcasting this morning.
Daryl asked if we had a cost on the roof replacement.
When I walked in, I saw the little porta potties maintained up there and said that obviously it's porta potties.
Yeah, I'll do the sheet out on it and see.
And I'm just looking for estimated numbers, I don't need down to the dollar. I mean, it's 100,000, that's different from 5,000.
So he would continue being an actor until we get a hold of him then? Okay.
$379,000.
Thank you, sir.
I got her. I got her right in the second one.
Well, that's what we utilize ARPA money for.
Okay.
So that way it didn't require going to the voters, to
Yeah.
the residents and asking for a bond issue.
What's the threshold for that? What's the threshold for that? Is there a dollar threshold for that?
Well, the county got $10.2 million,
Right.
and of that, they set aside for the roof and the expecting, and I think it was $4 million.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Favor?
I was gonna vote, but I realized I don't have.
Yeah.